Hi, it's me again. There may be nobody watching because we're getting towards tea time, and I don't know whether I'm going to go through the entire fitting of this socket. We'll just have to see what happens with it. I'm just going to try, and yeah, I'm just going to try and get the chat up. Just bear with me. I'll put you on leg cam again while I just quickly have a look at my YouTube dashboard. I have to refresh it. Yeah, there it is. I found it. Just bear with me. It seems to, it seems you see mostly fabric. It's either my clothes or the carpet. Stream status bad, variable resolution. That's not good. So just give it a sec. Primary stream. Thank you, Nefers, for the welcome back. Busted, you have Neo Geo MVS. Here we go, part 2. Excellent. Right, so I'll just point you back down there if I can. Hang on, I've forgotten how to do it already. I'm getting old. Right, here we go. So let's just try and set this up. I might need that magnifying glass. Let's try and zoom a little bit if we can. Let's just place this a bit further back. Just bear with me. It's going to wobble about a bit while I set it up there. What I really need is an overhead camera, and at some point I probably will. You know, it's on my list of things to try and maybe at some point move house, get a bigger house, but with things as they stand, it's going to take some time to do that. So the first thing we need to do is work out which way to fit this socket. I'll try and keep better track of the comments this time. Dermot Sweeney, hi gang, got to go on a work call in a bit. Okay, Dermot, stay safe. I'll catch you later. Error 42, thank you for your recent Patreon pledge. Actually, I just spotted that just before. So, as I say, we need to work out which way to put this on. If you look at the socket super closely, just my thumb there, can you see that little mark? Little arrow there? That's the pin 1 mark. So, just carefully comparing it to the chip, we've got a dot there. You see that? So that's pin 1, and that will go like that into the socket. You can also, stuck it in there a little bit now, you can also see it's got a chamfered edge here, you know, the edge is shaved off on one corner there, and you'll typically get that little gap, you know, shaved off there in the socket as well. So we know that pin 1 is here. On the board here it says this is a 1 on the silk screen in white, so it needs to go there like that. This is where you get to see inside my left ear probably as I try and get over this with the magnifier. You've got to look straight down at it and use magnification. Yeah, I'm actually a bit concerned with this now. If I'd seen what I could see now before I'd started the stream up again, I wouldn't have started the stream up again. I'd be like, yeah, I need to do this some other way, I think. I'll see if I can show you. If I just get this over the top of there, and I'll show you what my concern is. This is ideally mounted with solder paste, I think. I can't even line that up. Just bear with me. You have to suffer more on my left ear. Yeah, that's not far off aligned. So if I just bring the camera in, let's have a look at the comments. Yeah, so apologies, it's going to wobble. Hopefully you can see the issue there. If I try and get a bit closer, just look at these pins at the bottom here. Look how much clearance there is. There's next to nothing. There's next to nothing at all. This is the problem I had when I did that Archimedes, which is why I ultimately decided that the best solution there was to cut out the underneath of this. And I can't help but think that that's probably going to be the best thing to do, actually. I think what I might do is just try and get the best of both worlds. If you cut all of that plastic out there, it can bow. You know, the socket can bow. You know, so you stick the chip in, it can be a little bit curved, you know, from the pressure. you know, this plastic here is supporting, you know, it gives us some rigidity to the shape of the frame. But what I am thinking is if I cut out, let's say, I'll just bring my probe in so you can see, if I was to cut out, leave the corner ones in here, yeah, so those two corner ones I'll leave, and then I could remove all of these ones, well, I don't know, leave one in the middle, cut these ones out and cut the others out, and just do that, then it will make it far, far, far easier to solder. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. It's going to be fiddly to do on camera though, that's the problem. Let's just have a look back at the comments again. In case anyone's screaming any decent advice. So we've got Zarkos there again, hi Zarkos, ZX Kim, Anton Gale. I cut them out and put it back in after for spacing. Yeah, that might be an idea. Yeah, that might be an idea. Let's think about that. Okay, well, first thing, let's do that. Let's follow Anton Gale's advice there, because that seems like a pretty good thing to do, actually. So the pin one's up here. I know we've got that angle bit, that's a good reminder, but you know what? I'm stupid, I'm going to forget. So I'm just going to stick a red dot on the side there, because once we've cut that underside piece out, it's going to be the wrong way around, isn't it? Plus, it'll help us when we come to put that piece back in later. It's going to help us get it the right way around, isn't it? Because it's got a pin 1 marking on it. We've got the pin 1 marking there. Well, we don't need the dot to know that, but anyway. So, easy way to cut this, I'm thinking, is probably from the underside with the cutters here, and just try and snip. We've got 2 of these, so if this doesn't work, or if I damage it somehow. See, I could see a pin moving there. I've got to be careful. Got to be careful just to get the plastic and not interfere with the pins. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm super close. Oh, you see, did I just touch a pin there? Yeah, I did. Need to straighten that now. Need to straighten that now. Losing my voice. That's one of the problems when you do a video like this, like the one I did earlier. You start to get a sore throat talking so much. Yeah, that's all right. So let's just continue cutting those off. I'm just re-inspecting to see which I've done and which ones I haven't. So this corner one here, yeah, you need super fine cutters, that's for sure. Yeah, you see the little things that the supports are coming out, you know, they're breaking off, so I don't even think I could put it back on if I tried. I mean, the worst case is, you know, I might end up keeping this board for myself and let Stephen have the one with the good socket, because the other one's got a factory fitted one. Solder paste, you know, I've thought about this. Solder paste is without a doubt the best way to do this. It's just a question of how. You know, ideally you'd want a stencil, but then when you place the socket on top of it, if you're not careful, the solder paste could squish out and go everywhere. Now I've done 2 sides. I think after the 3rd side, that it should come out fairly easy. Sorry, this is not very exciting stuff here, just imagining I'm cutting these. What am I doing there, that pen? It's alright, just moved it a bit. So let's continue around. Oh, I'm sure I'm going to bend a pen. Yeah, let's see if that will now come out. I don't know, it might, yeah, it's starting to be free there, look. Ooh, there we go. Oh, come on. There we are. So we've got a few of the little bits around it. Yeah, it's like I say, we know this is good. It's going to bow out a little bit, but if we stick that frame in afterwards, I might be able to secure it with a bit of glue or something, just in the few struts that have not broken off. We just need to just carefully knock out these ones here that are just hanging off. I'm not even sure if you can see what I'm doing. I'm not sure if I can see what I'm doing, actually. Yeah, the odd one that stay there, I'm going to leave them. It's just the ones that are bent at angles, I think. Yeah, there's one there that's a bit bent. That's hanging off, look. I mean, technically, you know, I can remove one or two of these anyway because we don't need all of them there. Yeah, there's a few there that'll help secure it when I stick that plastic piece back in. So, where's my pin 1 gone now? Yeah, I'm much happier with that. That's going to be far, far, far easier to do now. So I'll just check out the comments again and have a sip of water. PDC, dreaded PLCC soldering. Yeah. Actually, soldering the chips on themselves is painful. PLCC chips, I hate soldering PLCC chips. I'm sure there's going to be people that find it super easy. You know, if you do it day in, it's like anything. If you do it day in and day out, you're going to find it easy. You find ways of doing things, and you know your skills improve with each you know job you do. Don't swing, leave corners and centre one on each side. Perhaps it's on board. Cut it all out. Epoxy fill it on the outside. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I could stick that base back in afterwards and just get the smallest amount of epoxy on the odd points that are around that. And there's only four or five points around there at the moment. But you know what? I think with a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of epoxy, it should be all right. But anyway, the main thing is we just need to get that socket back on there because I can't further diagnose this now without a Super Buster. Sorry, Lundquist. Can you put solder and flux on the pads and reflow it into place? Well, I think depending on the socket, you might be able to do that. But this, I think this is going to be one of these cheap sockets. I guarantee if I put hot air on this, you know, even at a low temperature, because this is the things to consider. Solder paste has got, I think, a lower melting point than typical solder. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it has. So what you would want to do is, you know, like my hot air, we were using them before to remove 420. It's quite high, so you want to remove that. You know, if your melting point's 280, let's say, or just a bit below that, might be 270 on solder paste, you want to set it as near to that as possible, and then you might find it's okay. You could literally probably just smear, you know, and I've seen a good video actually. You want to, if you've never seen it, check out my mate Vince's channel. He did a video testing different types of soldering and desoldering and remove, you know, he did surface mount, through hole, and he tried hot air, you know, solder paste, various combinations there on a few test kit boards, you know, cheap kit boards you could buy for a few pounds. And the interesting thing with that is that I learned from watching his video is solder paste. He just, like on a chip like this, he just smeared solder paste all the way around, and then he put his chip on and he heated it up, and it pulled, each blob of solder just pulled onto the pins. It didn't bridge at all. No bridges. It was amazing to watch. I never would have imagined that that was the result he would have got, because I just never tried that myself. So that's the sort of thing I could do here. I could have just smeared some solder paste there, stuck it down, and heated it with hot air at the right temperature, not too hot. But I think this socket may melt. I just don't want to chance it. So I'm going with what I know here. I'm going with what I know. If I get that straight, you know, perfectly straightly aligned now, and then anchor a couple of points, in theory, I think I can do a reasonable job. Sorry, we're on ear cam again. So let me just try and get this aligned again. Oh, good God. That's not going to be easy. What makes it difficult is you've got 4 pins on 4, you know, not 4 pins, pins on all sides. I've just realised I just need to straighten it. I've got a, just put it there a sec. I've got a bent up pin just slightly. It just needs flattening down to board level. So let's just rotate that. It's just one of the corner pins. It's just, there you go. It's not sitting completely flat. Let's just try that again around this way. Yeah, this is not exciting watching, is it? Yeah, that seems alright. Got one round there again that just needs a little straightening, I think. And to be honest, I can do that after it's mounted. Oops. Yeah, there we go. Sorry about that. Hope no one feels sick after that little Well, making you dizzy. Right, so pin 1. Let's check the comments again before I secure this. Just reading the comments says, don't forget to subscribe for everyone. If you subscribe, you win 1,000. Yeah, someone's trying to advertise their channel. I'm not going to include that. Yeah, ouch. Somebody said that. Right, sorry, without further ado, I'm just going to just straighten this up now, and then we'll anchor a couple of points, and I'll try and solder it. The clearance, actually, when you get the pads, the pins on the pads, the clearance is next to nothing. There's hardly anything to solder. It's like, I would say, 1/4 of a millimetre all around on each side. This is what makes these really difficult to fit, in my opinion. Sometimes you're better off actually just misaligning it slightly, as crazy as it sounds, just by a fraction of a millimetre. Because if you do misalign it, you've got more to solder onto. You know, what I mean misalign it, I'm talking about, you know, diagonally, just move it a tiny little bit. So like, for example, this corner here, just move it further down this way, just by a tiny amount. If you do it too much, you'll lose it on the other side. So yeah, that doesn't always work very well, but it can help on a couple of the sides. Yeah, it's not going to get much better than that, I don't think. Let me think about this. I'm just trying to think of the best way of securing this down. I wonder if I've got any blue tack in here. Sometimes just using a bit of blue tack can help. I might just try a piece of Captain tape, actually. Just perhaps across it. Because if I've not got something there, and because there's no clearance whatsoever, it's going to shift. So, I mean, I'm going to have to move it a little bit now anyway, because just by virtue of putting a bit of tape on it, it's not going to be 100% right. Oh, it's not far off. Yeah, that's not far off. Yeah, it's right on the bottom now, but then the top's, there we go, the top's out. Oh my goodness. Right, so just having a quick inspection. Yeah. I'm not happy with that at all. I'm not happy with that. I've got some blue tack somewhere, that's what I need really. Right retro gaming solder, 2 pins either side to square up. Yeah, that's what I need to do, but you've got to get it absolutely perfectly aligned before you solder anything, otherwise you've got a huge problem. If I can just get it in approximately the right position first, then I can just solder 1 point, and at that point it might be a bit easier to micro adjust it. It's important you just get one corner right, I guess. Yeah, it's like you move it one way and then it's out another way. So then you move it back the other way and then another side's out. This is far more difficult than I thought it was going to be. I must be crazy trying to do this on a stream. Right, there we go. So, wish me luck. I'll show you once we've anchored a couple of points, if we can manage to do that. Right. Let's see what we can do. So what I'm going to do here is just get a crazy amount of solder. You're not going to be able to see what I'm doing, but I'll show you the result. Try and touch. Oh, see, I've moved it already. Let me get a bit of flux from there. I think the easy way to do this is solder one pin and then heat and adjust it. That's probably what I'm going to have to do, because there's no clearance. There's no clearance at all. As the pin sits on the pad, you've got less than 1/4 of a millimetre. There's just like the smallest little sliver of something, pad that's visible. Let me try and bring some magnification and do it whilst it's there, like that. I don't think you can see the magnifier. I've got a magnifier over it so I can see what I'm doing. So we've got a bit of solder on the tip, so carefully hold it in position. Sorry this is a little bit boring, guys. Seriously, I didn't really anticipate this was going to be that hard. I thought there would have been a little bit more of an overhang between the pins and the pads, but sadly that isn't the case. Oh, good God, what am I doing here? Sorry, I'm trying to avoid swearing. Right, let's try. I think. Yeah, let's commit to soldering one of those. Yeah, that's one pin. I'll show you that one pin. Otherwise it's going to get a little bit bored, isn't it, if you're just waiting for me to solder. Once we've done a couple of pins there on each side, maybe one on each side, it should start to get a little bit easier. So, camera in now. You could just about, you might even be able to see, I've just soldered one here. So if I just, can't see what I'm doing here, grab the socket, see that? So it's held on that side. So all I need to do is do the same thing on the magnification, a little bit more flux on this side perhaps, and then just make sure it's totally straight and join the pin on that side. So I'll show you that in a sec. I mean, you can see this side a little bit better from there actually, although I know it's still miles away. I could perhaps try and zoom a little bit, maybe. It might just help a little bit. And again, just a little bit of flux. You can see it's not flat there because it's bobbing up and down. Right, so let's bring magnification in again. Again, you might not be able to see that magnifier, but trust me, I've got that Mr. Magnifier. I'll show you actually, this thing. Mr. Magnifier sort of sat over there so I can see what I am doing. So I think, I'm going to be blocking the shot here, I'm sorry. I think everything's looking straight. Yeah. So I just need to pick one pin, pull. Let's just clean the tip off there. I'm knocking stuff over here, and clean it again. It's not very clean though. There we go. So I've got a clean tip, and pick a pin just next to that flux there, and try and hook the tip onto that one pin. There we go. I've done it, but the socket is not flat, so I'm just going to flatten it, put some pressure on it. So at this stage now, we just need to inspect it again. So just bear with me, I'll check the comments in a minute. Don't worry, the Jeopardy is exciting enough. Oh. I say I have some bad ideas, and this is one of them. This is probably the worst idea I've ever had, to decide to fit a socket like this on a live stream. It's the sort of thing that I'd have nightmares about. Seriously. Right, I'm just straightening a pin because I can see, this is the beauty of once you get a couple of pins soldered on, you can see the odd one that's bent as a result of when you were cutting the bits off. You know, they're not very bent, they're just like either lifted a tiny little bit or they're not 100% straight. I'm pleased with that though, that's alright. I'll give you a close up, just bear with me, camera's going to move. So if try and do it slowly, if we hover over here and try and get it straight down. I think that's almost straight down. Sorry, I know I'm wobbling a little bit, but if you look at the top row, and if you look at that side row there, and the bottom row, I think, sorry, wobbling. So yeah, I think that's all right. You know, it could be a bit better maybe, but we've got 2 corners anchored, and we can improve that if I just stabilise the camera a minute. You know, if we just touch this side here, you can see it's stable on those 2 pins. So if I just try and get the camera aligned again, where is it? There we go. So the next thing I would do at this stage is do the other corners, not the corners, but the sides, just so that it's got a square support. You know, it's got support from the middle of each side. Some people might want to do the corners, and if it was a normal chip, I'd just do one corner then the other, and then start drag flowing on the whole lot. But with this, I think I'm going to go, this is the approach I'm going to do, is, again, I'm trying not to block the shot here. I can't really see whether I'm blocking it or not. Let's just move that solder out of the way. And we'll pick a pin and just shove a little bit of solder in it. Most of the soldering, I'm not using magnification at the moment, but most of the solder work in a minute, I'm just going to stick the magnifier over, and then it should be hopefully light work. So again, we'll solder pin down here, or 2. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, just giving it a little squeeze, just not a lot, just hardly anything, just to touch it, just to make sure it's on. Yeah, that's on, totally secure. So at this point now, we can just go to town and just get the flux all the way along the inside of here. I might need another tube yet, I don't know. Then probably it'd be enough just to do this, I think. I've got some spare tubes if I need it. But you've got to be careful when you're dragging the flux along there that you don't bend the pins, because that's one thing you can do. You know, the pins are exposed here. We could knock them all out of position. I'll be happy at the end of this if it just gives us a yellow screen again. I hope it doesn't. I'll be even happier if it doesn't give us a yellow screen. But if we can just get it back to the yellow screen with the buster, we know, and the diagram passes. We've got diagram on here, so I'll show you how what it's doing after this. You never know, we might have some more suggestions, and as I say, we could have a look with Logic Pro, but it's very difficult certainly to test that F86, because you know the signals going through it and changing state. It's really hard to make sense of it. Is it actually doing what it's supposed to be doing, that F86 down there? I don't know. As I said earlier, I'll be pretty angry if it was just that F86, because I'll have put a socket on this board for no reason. But again, echoing what I said before, one of these boards will be going back to Stephen. Stephen will be able to pick which board he wants then, and he can have the Rev 11 buster. The Rev 11 buster has got better support for DMA and stuff. Some bug fixes and things like that, but also it's you know, you get better performance out of a Rev 11 buster. I think Stephen's intentions, and I could be wrong, I think his intentions may be to use that board for future development work. So you know, you might fingers crossed, you might create something for the Amiga 4000 here. So I'm going to get a load of solder here, and hopefully that's not blocking it. I don't think it is. I'll try and do that top row first. You're not going to be able to see very much of it. I'm sorry about the bit rate of this stream as well, and the audio quality, by the way, because I noticed just reviewing back earlier it wasn't that great, but I can't do much about it. I might be able to refine it later. So hang on, I'm touching the socket here, didn't want to do that. It's difficult trying to balance my magnifier at the same time. There we go, that's a bit better. Right, I can perhaps adjust it in a minute if you can't see what I'm doing. But I'm just bobbing into those pins there with a bit of solder. The other thing you may have to do is add the solder at the time you touch the pin. And that's the difference with these, because let's say the tip I've got on the iron is not letting the solder flow down. But if you melt the solder onto the pin, then it's all right. Yeah, that one's melting, I think, now, is it? Yeah, it's the corner ones are the difficult bit. Once you get away from the corners, things start to get a bit easier, because you can then literally just bob into it. Come on, that one's not flowing now. Yeah, it is, that's flowed now. Sometimes a crazy amount of solder is exactly what you need, because the more solder you have there, especially if you're using good flux, it has no problems blobbing out from the sides of the iron and making a join and flowing. Does that make sense? It's the flux that stops it from all just joining up into one giant blob. Now, what I've got to do here now is be careful of this side of the socket. This is one of the pitfalls of trying to do this on a live stream. Let me just try and do it at a distance. Actually, I might just use my hand magnifier. You might get more of my ear in the camera, but it might just help me do this bit. There's a strut there that I'm trying to melt in, you know, one of the ones we've left in place. Yeah, it's difficult to get that angle. Right, I'm going to do something unexpected here. I'm going to swap over to the Antex. As crazy as it seems, I know for a fact with the Antex I can do this far easier than with the Heiko. And it's all about tip. It's just about the tip. There's nothing wrong with the Heiko. It's about the tip. That tip is fine for some of the solder work I've been doing, but yeah, I know that with the Antex that'll be easy. With the Antex it'll just be literally bob into it and just drag along and it'll flow straight away. I don't have the problem with the tip that's on the Antex with the solder not flowing properly. That said, the tip that's on the Heiko now, you know, this super fine tip, for things like this here, these where the pins are exposed, it's so you can't quite see that, can you? Let's just zoom back out a little bit. For chips like these around here, where the pins are exposed on the sides, it's super easy using a Heiko, no worries at all, because you've got quite a long part of the tip that you can drag along there. But with something like that, where there's nothing exposed, the solder's just, like I say, will not flow down it. It's a bit hard to explain. I might try and show you that later with some close-ups or something so you can see what I mean. But anyway, let's just give the Antex a few minutes here to warm up. I'm a bit restricted with wires here. It's not very long, the wire on the Antex. Not very long at all, actually. In fact, what I'm going to do is just relocate it, I think. Hang on. Yeah, I've got a plug here just because I've had to set up an extension for the charger for the phone there, so yeah, that's far easier. Let me just move the stand over here as well. I'll just sit it down here. At some point I'll get onto the table. My aim is to clear the table in here and start working off the table, actually. It'll be far better. I can leave everything set up that way, and it'll be easier with cameras and things like that. If I continue to do any streams and things. So just reading the comments, Nefra's, yeah, being ambidextrous would be great for jobs like this. Yeah, I always said I wish I had 3 arms, or 4 arms maybe. 4x2k3, nice to see you. It's all about the tip. It is, yeah. Kilo Sierra Alpha, don't you have other tips for that Heiko? Yes, I do, but I can't find a tip that is like this. Let me just give you a close-up of this tip here. Not too close. Can you see? It's like, is that a chisel? I think it's a chisel. It's like it's slanted. It's slanted like that on the end. And for many types of soldering, in fact all types of soldering, I found that tip just ideal. It's just like the best tip. I would never need another tip. So all I need to do is find a Heiko tip. Someone said there, drag soldering tip. Yeah, thank you, PC Tonto. Someone said, couldn't use an Arduino Raspberry Pi for analysing boards because they start to do. Yes, you could. One of my friends actually in the States, I'm trying to think his name, it'll come to me. He was one of my patrons. I know him from the Neo Geo forums, and he started to develop a PIC analyzer that you could connect to 7.4 series logic, stick it over the top in the circuit, and test whether it's working. But there are complications because you've got, you know, signals changing states and things in real time. The point where you're doing a capture with a device like that, you know, you're having to, you want it to be synchronized to the leading edges of certain signals or the trailing edges of others, depending on what kind of chip it is. And there's just a lot of complication trying to achieve something like that. That's perhaps why there's not many logic, you know, real-time logic analyzers where you can just stick something over, you know, standard Jelly Bean TTL logic or CMOS logic and check whether it's working. But he did make some progress, and I think for many cases, many types of chips, he actually got it working. It was actually working, but there were just some issues, let's say. So I've cleaned the tip there. That's heated up. Let's just add some more solder, and let me just try this again. Sorry if it's if you can see primarily my ear on ear cam. That is just so much easier, seriously. And it's not the iron. The iron's crap. It's a very poor quality iron. It's a case of the tip. Yeah, I mean, I've gone over those there a few times. Let me just give you a zoom in on those first 6 or 7 pins. Bear with me, I'm moving the camera. You've had a warning. So if you look at the first, I don't know, 6 or 7 pins there, yeah, they look a bit of a shape because of the flux on them. Yeah, you can't really tell. It looks awful, but trust me, it'll be all right when I'm finished. Let's try and get that set up back there again. So I'll just continue around that now. It shouldn't take me long, maybe 2 or 3 minutes, 4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. So just bear with me. Let's start on that inside left side there. This is where I need ventilation because I have to hold my breath and breathe outwards, which isn't good. You don't want to be breathing this stuff in. There we go, it's the first 6 or 7 on that side. Let's just continue down. You've got to be mindful while you're doing this as well, that you're not getting close to the socket at any point, because you could be melting the socket over this side or down that side, depending on where you're not looking. I bridged 2 pins there for a minute, but then the flux just freed them up. I'll check back the comments in a minute. Thank you ever so much to the donations and things before. I'm sorry if I missed any. I really didn't get a chance to keep up with the messages and things in that last video. So I need to get into this corner now. I know which one's going to be difficult. It's the pin on the other side of it. There's like a strut, plastic strut still there, and it's the one on the other side of it, right in the corner. That one's going to be difficult. Yeah, there we go, that's that side done. I think, let me just have a quick look and I'll just give you another update. Hang on. Yeah, every pin on that left hand side, I'm moving the camera now. Every pin on that left hand side has been done. There's one that down there somewhere that looks like a bit blobby, but you can see the bottom left hand pin, the very bottom left, that needs doing. And look, that strut's in the way. I can just about do that. I can do that with the pin that's next to it on the bottom row there at the same time. It kind of looks weird there. Yeah, it looks like a pad or something missing here. I don't think we have. I think it's just an optical illusion. I'll inspect that in a minute. I think that's just an illusion because all the pads were alright on that board. None of them are loose. Oh, we've got Stephen Leary. You're breaking my A4000. Hi, Stephen. Yeah, unfortunately, and I've had to cut the base out of that socket because I am not capable with the skills and tools and things I've got of fitting it with a base in it. But I've got the base. We're going to try and stick it back in later. It wasn't the Super Buster. It wasn't the Super Buster. So there is still a yellow screen on this one, but as hopefully, if I can get this working again in, give me 10 minutes or so, if we can go test it, I'll show you that it boots up with diagram 100%. Everything works, including all the fast RAM. The only issue I'm aware of on this board is it needs a real-time clock chip. I'm waiting for one. I've ordered a couple from France. That's the only place. Well, I could have got them from China, but with everything going on, I didn't really want to risk ordering from China just now. I think there may be shipping delays and all that sort of stuff. So let's just turn the board around. Move the camera slightly here. Hang on. Yeah, there we go. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to see what I'm doing, I don't think. Which one was I going to do then? I've done that side. Let me try and flip the board that way. Can you see that? No, you can't. Now the Zorro connector blocking the shot. Evil Zorro connector. Let's move the camera forward a little bit. Yeah, there you go. You can see that side now, I think, hopefully. Let's just catch up with the comments again. Sabertooth Barnacle, how do? Hi. You should check out Sabertooth Barnacle's channel. He's got a lot of Amiga, well, some Amiga repairs and Commodore 64. He did the Commodore 64 one recently, just on the PLA, on the dead test cart. It was in the dead test cart, I think it was about, but it touched on some of the stuff through the PLA. And that way, you should check out Stephen's channel as well. Stephen's provided this Amiga 2000 board, 4000 board, sorry, correction, and the other Amiga 4000 board. So those will be both coming up on this channel soon, and hopefully this one might end up at 100% as well. This is the only outstanding issue. If I can fix this, both boards will be 100%, and I'll be over the moon because that nice guy Stephen Leary has said I can keep one of them. Yeah, so we'll let Stephen pick. Once he's seen the videos, you can see what state they're both in. Hang on, just blobbing into these here. You can see what state they're in and decide which one he wants. I've got no preference. They'll both have socketed busters because the other one's already had a socket, factory fitted socket. So he can have the Rev 11 buster if he wants. If he wants the other board that hasn't got a Rev 11 buster, if that makes sense, I'll just swap it over. I'm not that fussed. I can get a buster, a Rev 11 buster later. But I think we've proven at least the yellow screen was not caused by the Super Buster, because on that other board it didn't give us a yellow screen. You know, my suspicion with this isn't going to be that F86. I think it's more likely to be the GAL, actually. As much as I don't want it to be, it might that might mean I have to get someone to program up a GAL for me, or buy a Mini Pro TL866 or whatever it is programmer. Yeah, Stephen just said that. I just want a wrecker for my development, so keep the nicest one for you. Oh, that's nice, but they're both going to be pristine. The work I've done to these, everything's working really. It's just this blooming yellow screen one. If I can get this, get this working, I'll be so happy. It's not going to be in this video, but at least we can try and get this one back to having a buster, and I can show you diagram, and then we can perhaps just remove the ROMs, swap over to Kickstart. It might take me a minute to do that, you'd have to bear with me, and I can show you that we are indeed getting a blooming yellow screen. Sorry, you're getting to view even more and more of the Zorro there, aren't you? That reminds me, actually, if anybody's got a Zorro, you know, the bridge board that goes with a 4000, I've joined two pins together successfully there. Mission accomplished. Let's try and separate those in a minute. Sorry, I know you can see less and less and less of what I'm doing here. Yeah, if anybody's got a bridge board for an A4000, you know, that provides the Zorro slots and the PC slots, even a third-party one, please let me know. You know, if it's an affordable price, Don't if it's a stupid price. I was looking at the ones on eBay, Analogic, selling some. £200. £200 for a blooming PCB with slots. Yeah, worst case, that's might be what I end up having to buy. Because you see, if I can do that, if I can find a bridge board from somewhere, even if it's got some corroded slots or something, you know, the sockets are corroded, I can replace those, or just clean them up, work with it, get a case of any kind really, and you know, fit a PSU in there, and I'd have to do some mods to a case, unless I can get a proper 4000 case, but I'm not that too precious about the case or the power supply. So these are flowing really easily here. Let's just try and rotate the board again a bit more. Sorry if I'm blocking it. See if I can unbridge those two there. Yeah, now I've bridged 3. That's what happens when you try and get clever and try and unbridge pins when you know you need more flux on it. You end up bridging more pins. Sometimes you just you know, count your losses kind of thing and just wait until you've added some more flux. The interesting thing is the sizzling a bit on this side here, and that's this side here nearest the corrosion. That just goes to show there was a wee bit of corrosion there. You never know, we could be super lucky with this. We might get the buster back on here and find it's right as rain. If that happens, say I'm going to do a dance. I will do a dance on my live stream, and I don't dance. I would not be confident enough to be ever seen dancing anywhere, any point in my life, but I tell you what, I will dance if this works. How much more solder do we need there now? Right, so it's just these, the ones in the corner. So again, rotating around. I really need to rotate further around actually. Can you still see that? I think you probably just about can. And again, sorry if you've got ear cam. I'll try and catch it with some comments in a minute. Right, just reflowing a few. Yeah, it's looking alright actually. We're not far off. I'm trying to count how many sides we've done. We've done 2 or 3 sides, I think. Almost 3 sides now, I'm not sure. Yeah, you can just about see that. Sorry, it's on the right hand side of the screen instead of in the middle. There we go. The other thing I would say is you can be tempted, like I've been there, to touch up parts that you think, oh, that blob doesn't look quite the right shape. But you know what? When you do that, because the flux has burnt away a little bit, you end up adding more solder to it, and it looks even worse than it did. You end up like with a pointy outy bit stuck out at the side. Let's just move that buster because it's flying all over the place here, and I don't want it anywhere near what I'm doing. And we'll move that piece of plastic as well. Okay, so I'll just reposition slightly. So I'll just inspect that side. Let's have a look. Yeah, so that side is looking good. If we rotate the board 90 degrees again, try and keep it in shot. And again, let's look at that side. Yeah, that side's looking good. Somehow I seem to have done all 4 sides. I don't remember going around four ways, but there's just the odd point that needs a bit of solder. So let me just have a scan around. Yeah, I'm not convinced. This one up here, the one I showed you, where it was right in the corner, the first row we did, the first, you know, the left-hand side as it faced us. There was one at the bottom, wasn't there? Didn't have any solder on it, and I'm not sure I have even attempted to solder that yet. So we'll just get a little bit more flux into that corner. And I will just attempt to just do that one. Sorry, I know you can't see anything I'm doing here. It might get a bit more interesting when we clean this up in a minute and go and try it. God, God, there's so no clearance, there's so little clearance there. That stupid plastic standoff. Do you know, I think I'm going to cut that plastic standoff actually, because it's just sticking out, and it's. Mind you, there's one in that corner there. Having said that, I think I've managed to solder the pins on that one down there, so maybe I'm not trying hard enough. Let's if I managed it on one corner, why can't I manage it on this corner? Yeah, there we go, I think I've done it. There we go, just chasing bridges at the moment. Right, I need a sense check now. I just need to just go around it and make sure I've not missed anything. Who have we got? Raw Talent, hey buddy, love watching your work, thank you very, very much. Raw, if you're not aware, does custom consoles. So what I mean by that is, you not only mods them to, you know, I don't know, region free and video mods, you know, like RGB, bypass mods and stuff like that, but it's the actual physical case. He'll take, say, for example, an Amiga or a Mega Drive shell, and you can provide him an idea of what kind of custom design you want, and he completely, you know, like sprays them professionally. He's a fantastic guy at doing it. He's done it for lots of competitions and things. I think one of the Xeno Crisis giveaway, there was like, they did a giveaway, I think there was a competition or something for their patrons or something like that, or the Kickstarters, and they had a custom Xeno Crisis Mega Drive, and I think he was involved in that. You know, he created it, and it looks absolutely amazing. I mean, generally, he has like a pearlescent, glossy finish to the systems that he does to protect the paint and stuff, and they just look absolutely amazing. He was at some point going to send me one, but he's just not got around to it. That would have been just amazing. That will be amazing when that happens. It's you know, it's the cost and everything. It's because they are quite expensive. It's not cheap. You know, you're paying for dozens and dozens and dozens of hours of his time to, like, say, do a professional art job on them. It's not just a quick spray and that's it. You get a really professional mod job done when you order one of those from him. So yeah, we're nearly there. I just realised there's some down here that I've missed, that's all. And then we can clean it up. Another one of those plastic struts in the way. I'm saying look, I don't think you can see it. Take my word for it, it's there. Sizzling a little bit there again. Yeah, I cut myself off before. What I was saying is about that sizzling down this side of the socket here. You never know, we could have, it's a bit like those Archimedes, that you get corrosion, you know, the battery leaks, you get that alkaline there, and it can create connectivity, you know, conductivity. So, you never know, it might just suddenly miraculously spring to life after we've got the socket on. Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, those aren't flowing very well, but they are flowing. So we just got one sim on the corner and I think we're done. Trying to avoid the right hand side of the socket. Oh, got a bridge there now. Oh. Right, let's just pull the braid in. Let's try and remove those bridges, because we got a bridge elsewhere, didn't we, earlier on? Lost my braid at the same time. Where on earth's it gone? Probably underneath the board. No, it's not. Hang on a minute. I'm having one of those braid panic moments. This always happens to me. I lose track of it and I'm like, where's it gone? What have I done with it? I wouldn't mind, but I've moved nothing in here since we did the last stream. So, quite where it's gone, I honestly don't know. What? It's not under there, is it? No. Oh, there it is. Found it. I'm not going to be able to get rid of bridges like that without braid. Well, you could actually. That's the other thing. Sometimes just stick a bit more flux in there. Let's just try that before we start trying to braid it. Yeah, you just leave a bit of flux in there, and sometimes that's enough. Yeah, brushing that all out in a minute anyway, because it's going to be really sticky and all over the place. That. Yeah, there we go. It's gone. Not only that, the solder looks better. So I'm just looking around now for any odd ones that I might have missed or anything like that. And I think we're good. I think it's just this side here we've got another bridge, so we'll try and add a bit more flux now. I've lost the flux. There it is. Yeah, strange thing before, I got one of those yellow things on this video saying this video is not suitable for monetization. Why? What's wrong with it? I didn't swear, did I? Maybe I did. It might be because I've got brands. I'm talking about brands like that Kenwick's stuff. I'll try and keep up with the comments. It does look amazing. I've not come across much modding. Oh yeah, he's talking about raw talent stuff. Boycott 5G technology. Why would you want to do that? 40 controls and Reddit. Chris, please check the pin on the small PLCC chip next to the one you're working on. Looks a bit dodgy. It's to the left of the pin, 1 dot. Yeah, that has been reflowed. I'll show you up close in a minute. It looks all right. Trust me. It's probably just the camera catching on the additional solder or something that makes it look weird there. So anyway, let's just try and get rid of that bridge down. Where was it now? Down there. I might need some more flux. That's what I'm doing. Let's just have more flux in there. I thought I added more flux in there. I'm going bonkers here. There we go. I should rotate it a little bit more. Sorry. There you go. I must have moved the camera there or something. I don't know what happened there. If I can just deal with this now, then we can clean it. Oh, what is going on in that corner? Yeah, that's it. So I think we're good. Final inspection. Yeah, some of these could be. I could reflow these later off camera just to make them look a bit cleaner. But I think I see good joins on all the connections here. Maybe just that left-hand corner there. Let's just check that. Yeah, phone nearly went. I tried to make a dash for it. Yeah, even that one's all right actually. Right, let's start cleaning up with cotton buds. So yeah, hopefully. Well, it's took longer than I said. I said 10 minutes. That's been about half an hour, hasn't it? Not the world's most exciting video to watch. Catheters, analogic tend to be cheaper if you buy direct rather than through eBay. I didn't know that. I'll check out the website. Yeah, analogic are good because they just seem to have so many spares. It makes me wonder where they're getting them from. Is it old ex-Commodore stuff from UK distributors and suppliers and all that, or is it? Did they used to be a vendor or a supplier or something? I don't know. Or are they stripping these things down? You can see what I'm doing here initially is just mopping it up, mopping as much as I can. Then we'll just go over it with a toothbrush. It's important to do it though, because otherwise we'll just have flux all over the pins and we'll get a really fluxy, horrible join to the chip. Yeah, it's really thick that. Some more IPA. And a sip of water, I think. Yes, I mean, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. I'm not happy is because I've had to cut that thing out of the bottom of it. You know, it's going to bow a little bit. We can deal with that later in terms of trying to stick that other thing back in, but it's not really the right way of doing it. I still think hot air is probably the right way, but you'd have to be prepared to try and test trial, you know, with hot air. You know, get some solder paste on there, get your chip in place, and then I don't know, lots of flux, and not too hot, just hot enough to melt the solder paste, and try it. Really, a bit of experimentation. You know, maybe I'll try that one day, but not on this board. I'd rather try and avoid doing any damage to this if I can. Even if the socket's a little bit bowed on this one, it's like I say, I'll keep this one, and Stephen can have the better board with better socket rather. It won't bother me at all if the socket's just slightly bowed, but it works all right. Right, that'll do with the cotton bud. Let's just get a cap of IPA and start brushing around a little bit. So I'm just going to get some paper towel. Don't really need the paper towel actually, I don't know what I'm thinking here. When it's near the edge of the board, I typically stick it under the board, but anyway, we'll just stick it there, I can use it if I need it. Let's just move it out of the way, it doesn't need to be there, does it? In retrospect, so we'll just get a cap of IPA here. Sorry, you can't see that, can you? Here's a cap of IPA with a wife's toothbrush. And let's just have a bit of a brush in here. Now when you do this, it's not unheard of once you finish this, of going, oh hang on a minute, now I can see a pin that was not being soldered. Because the flux obviously masks so much, you can't really see very well when you've got lots of flux around there like that. And of course there's different types of flux, you know, lots of people use that watery sort of no clean flux, and if you use something like that, the cleanup works so much easier. But I like to use that sticky, techy sort of flux, certainly the chip quick one. I just feel that it just makes soldering so much easier. It really does a good job of not just helping the solder flow where it needs to flow, but by keeping things from joining together where you don't want them to join together. And as you saw, well, you probably couldn't see, but when I had some bridge pins there, just adding a bit of it, actually unbridged them. It really was just a case of a little bit of flux, and that was it. They separated nicely. Right, I think that's going to be clean enough. Can always give it another clean later. So I'll use a piece of that kitchen towel. Start by going around the outside here on these things, because it goes everywhere. Use the toothbrush, it spatters out onto everything in the nearby area. That's no problem. I haven't finished cosmetically fixing this yet either. You know, some of the things around here will get, you can't see it I think, some of the things down there will get tinned up later. I'm focused on where the damage is, you know, I'm fixing what actually needs fixing and then going, right, let's now tin up those traces, let's make that wire and those traces there look a bit better, etc, etc. So it's just finally with one cotton bud just to make sure we've got it all out there. I think we have. You've got to watch you don't get strands of cotton attached to it. It's leaking out down there, look, a little bit. One thing I've been doing to dry these off, and I'll do it later, when I wash this properly later with some IPA, is you know, tilt the board at an angle and then use the hot air on a low temperature but on a high airflow, and just you can blow the stuff out from underneath things, and you know, it blows the IPA underneath the chip and out the gaps, and it dries it up super quick, and it just looks really nice and tidy afterwards. So yeah, ear cam again, just bear with me. You might not be able to see my ear, I don't know, but yeah, there's a hair. Let's remove that cotton strand. So just having a look, they'll look good, that looks alright, they'll look good. That one there's not so clever. That's not soldered at all actually. Those are alright. Let's try that one. Yeah, I've got two pins there that are not soldered at all. That's what I was worried about. So we just tilt it this way. Sorry, you can't see that very well, can you? No, you can. Yeah, this pin here, that's not soldered. There's no solder there whatsoever. So, I think I'll just try and solder that one pin. I'm not going to add tons and tons of flux. We'll just try and add the solder. And my hand's going to block it, I'm sure. Let me get my magnifier, hang on. Yeah, thanks for staying with the stream, guys. Right. Oh, I don't want to melt the socket here. I could do with just rotating it a bit more. Trying to move the magnifier here as well, because it's not in the right place. There we go. And I'd be better off with the other iron actually for this, because the other iron's got a super fine tip. That plastic post's right in the way. I'm going to touch the socket. Oh, I can't get into that corner. Yeah, there we go. Done it. It's just that one again. Yeah, so that's that. That's one. Just find the other one and then we'll go test it. Yeah, so that one's alright. That one's alright. That's okay. Yeah, it's that bottom left hand corner. So it's this one here. Yeah, that one up there is not done either. So again, pull my magnifier in. Can't see which one it is now. Oh, it's really annoying, that one. It's the left one in this corner here. Let's try and put the magnifier over that side. Just bear with me, I promise you we'll go test this in a minute. Oh, again, it's got one of those plastic posts right in the way. Sorry, I know I'm blocking it. There's nothing I can do. It's... Yeah, I think that's done it. Yeah, I think that's it. I should inspect it one final time and then we'll test it. I honestly can't tell now. I'll just move that thing out of the way there. Yeah. Sorry, I know you can see the Zorro slot there, just give me a minute. I'm just going to add a tiny bit of flux. It does mean I'm just going to need to give it a quick scrub. Get some more solder on there. Because if I'm going to do it, I need to do it right. It's no good, it just, because as it looks at the moment, it looks like, yeah, it's kind of flowed, but not. There we go, that's proper join now. Right, okay, let's clean that up and go and test it. I'm not going to give it a full scrub, I'm just going to put a cotton bud in that corner. Because I can do that later. You don't need to get bored with watching me clean every single little piece like this. As long as I clean the pins there, it should be alright. So I'll give you a top-down look at that. And as I say, there is room for improvement to reflow some of this later. So I'm moving the camera, get ready. So yeah, if we put the camera over here, yeah, so you can see, like I say, the shape of some of these, they're not quite as smooth or round. They're not bad, they're all right. That's one of those plastic struts. It's not like a burn on the board. There's another one there. Look, they get melted really easily. I should have just chopped those off. That would have been far better, I think. So yeah, again, the shape of some of these here, they don't look great, but they are flowed. They are flowed. And of course, you can do the test. You know, you can just literally just try and touch each one, just see if you can move it. But that'll be all right just for now. I can reflow it later, because what I would do later, I'll be honest, when I'm not on camera, I just get some flux all around here again now, and I just do some drag soldering. Just drag the iron down here. I'd probably use the Heiko at that stage. Just drag the iron across, and they'll all look really nice, level and smooth, and like factory. And I do the same thing all the way around, and then clean it all off, just as you see me do with cotton buds and the brush. The only reason I'm leaving these little bits of plastic here is because it might just help when we stick that base back in after. Anyway, that's that. So just bear with me a sec. What we need to do now is work out what I need to take over there. We need the buster, obviously, so let me just tidy up a little bit here. Just move a few of these things around. Some of the tools back over there. Flux there, so we've got the buster. Let's just put the buster there a minute. Now the interesting, I've just thought of something. I wonder if this will boot into diagram without a buster. I bet it will. I bet it will. It might not do, but we'll try that. We'll try that first. We'll try it without the buster, then we'll stick the buster out. So let's get the board. I'm just going to touch the light switch next to me here. Hang on, just around myself. Technically that's not enough. I really should be wearing an ESD wrist strap at every point. Just because of virtue of moving, you generate ESD. Let's just get that, and we'll carefully walk across the other side of the room. Mega Drive there, look, and point you down here. I'm just going to zoom out if we can. Oop. The zooming is weird on this phone. Hang on. Yeah, there we go. So you can see the other board there. So what do we need from this now? We can disconnect the compact flash hard disk. If we can. Disconnect the power supply. Pull that all out of the way. And then just disconnect mount. Yeah, this was on test earlier. I left it on for 4 hours testing the 16 meg on there. No worries. Both of these, like I say, had problems with the RAM. And then we've got a sim here that Stephen kindly provided for testing. Again, if you can find a seller for these, please let me know if you know exactly what type. I'll have a look on eBay, because all the ones I've got, they're all 4 meg, but they won't work in this slot. You put them in this slot, you get 1 meg of chip RAM. It's really annoying. Anyway, so I'll bring the other board in. Just put the other board there, out of the way. That way around. Sorry, I dropped it. Let's have the drop test. Look. So let's get the sim in. Let's just move that chip out of the way. A moment, sticking the power supply. So we need video. I'll connect up audio anyway, just because if we're going to test it, we'll test that. Mouse and the power. I'm not going to connect the hard drive. I'll tell you what, we will connect the hard drive. I'll just show you that the hard drive works on this as well. Because again, one of these or both of these had hard disk. Well, one board I think had a hard disk problem. Let me just look down on that. I'm doing just to make sure the pins are aligned. So I've got everything there apart from a CPU card. Let's stick a CPU card in. I need to find one. Hang on, I've got one here. So here's one I recapped earlier. That's on the video. I've uploaded a video. It's not live just yet. I meant to make it live, but with me doing these streams, it's just stopped me from doing the enable it. So I'll make that public about 20 or 30 minutes after the stream if you want to watch another Amiga video. So let me think now. So we've got everything in place apart from the buster. I'm just going to test it. Let's see what happens. So that's normal for diagram. To test the chip RAM there with that black and green flashing. And yeah, it's working right without a buster, isn't it? That just kind of shows me really that the diagram doesn't do anything with the buster. because if it did, you know, you would see evidence of it there. Anyway, trust me. Well, I can show you. Let me just put the. Hang on, how can I do this? Let me think about this. Let me hold the camera. There we go. So I'm gonna have to hold it. Sorry, it's going to be wobble vision. So if we go to let's do CIA tests, test interrupts. Click. Okay, can you see they're all green there? And if we do test, hang on, I've just done that one. Test CIAs. Oh, click the wrong thing there. Oh, just bear with me. Or maybe I didn't. I've never seen that test before. They're all coming up okay though, as you can see. PAL, okay. Oh, it's going around. There we go. Main menu, audio tests. Let's do that. Channel 1, channel 2, 3, 4. So that's all good. Bear in mind, we've got no fast RAM at the moment. You can see down here 0 KB. But if I stick Sims in there, it's no problem. It goes all the way up to 16 meg and it tests the fast RAM. We can test the chip RAM. That's all okay. The main thing is you can see that that is booting and everything in there, trust me, works. So what we'll do next is switch it off. I'll change over to start and we'll try it with the buster. If we'll try it without the buster first, we should get a yellow screen anyway, because that's normal behaviour. So if we just remove the CPU card and carefully slide out, sorry my arm's in the way there, bit by bit, diagram. Oh, the IDE interface is in the way now. I didn't show you, but I can show you that. Well, I don't know, there's no margin showing you that. Trust me, if you go into the disk test bit in diagram, if I connect a floppy drive, I can get it to see the heads up and down the disk. That's evidence that the floppy interface is all right in terms of the CIAs, or the one of them there's at U300. That's okay. And if I look at the IDE, you know, I think it says A4000 IDE, and if I choose that, it flashes the hard disk LED there. You see it just flash briefly, and then it comes up saying the geometry. You know, how many disks, head surfaces, and all that sort of stuff, and including the ID of the compact flash card, its version number, which to me says, yeah, it's not the IDE. The IDE is all right. It can see the drive. And this is why I'm stumped with this one. I'm absolutely stumped with it. It's got to be that or that F86. Can't be anything else. So handily, these are different colours. It's like they must have a different set or something. You can see one's got like light print, one's got dark print. So I know that this one's the low one, the one with the light print. And this one's the dark print. Again, I should be wearing an ESD wrist strap here. There we go. So we've got Workbench in there. Let's connect the CPU card again. I'm using an ATX power supply adapter, this power switch, by the way. So that's all connected up. Now if we switch that on, we should get a yellow screen anyway. So I'll point you at the screen, hang on. Yeah, that's normal. You can see that because we haven't got a buster. And switch it off. And let's get our buster. So this is the other buster. We're not testing it with the Rev 11. The Rev 11's on the other board at the moment. But what we do know is it boots okay on the other board. So pin 1's at the top there. So let's just carefully push that in. You know what? That's not bowed out very much, actually. That's all right, that. And give it another try and see what happens. But I'm guessing it's going to be yellow screen. What? Hang on a minute. Maybe it's maybe something's not right. No, that can't be booting. It would have booted by now, I think, wouldn't it? Doesn't it normally? Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe we've got a bad connection. There's nothing different about Rev 9 busters, is there? Maybe I've got a pin missing or something on the solder points there or something. We've got everything connected, haven't we? Let's just disconnect the CPU card again. Make sure I've got the ROMs the right way around, yeah. So we've got the low one, the high one, CPU card. Let's try it again. I might have to just take this back out and reseat it. Maybe it's a bad connection. Could be a bit of flux around one of the pins or something there, or maybe I didn't flow them properly. Don't know, I'm just waiting. It's black screen at the moment. I'll show you. Yeah, that's not working, because if that was working, we'd have seen some activity on the IDE, and actually we didn't. Let's just disconnect the IDE, just in case there is some weird thing with the IDE on this board, but I don't think so. I think it's going to be, must be a bad connection or something around here. Yeah, sorry, I'm just looking at the screen. So, where do I go from here? I wonder if you try cleaning around the buster socket again. Because after I reflowed those of the pins, I didn't really clean it properly, did I? It could also be that that buster chip has got slightly tarnished, and I'm reluctant to wedge this out this way. Let's just see. It might come out easier because I've got the side struts. Should be using the PLCC extractor, but yeah, there we go, it's coming out. So let's just carefully see if we can get that out. Just to get there. So let's just stick it onto that a minute, and we'll take the board and the chip. In fact, maybe I don't even need to take them over there. Let me bring the IP over here. Just wait there a sec. I'll just check the comments. Where's my IPA gone? Right, here we go. So I've got a bit more IPA here. Now I'm confident that all of the solder points around that are okay. Having said that, you know, it's like famous last words, isn't it? I guarantee I'll inspect this later and go, oh, there was a pin not soldered. But the interesting thing is it's doing more than it was before. It's not going straight to a yellow screen. It would normally go to a yellow screen when the buster's missing. In fact, it's doing that. It's going to a yellow screen when the buster's missing. It's not going to a yellow screen when the buster's in there, which is not what it was doing before. So I'm cleaning up the pins. I'll see if I can show you. I'm just wiping over the pins here just in case there's a bit of flux or something got on there. This hasn't really been out of its original socket, and I'm sure this chip's all right. Pin 1 is up there. So yeah, let's just try reseating it again. I can't imagine that's going to make any difference at all, to be fair. Anyway, let's see what it's doing now. Just a black screen again. Gal north of buster can be a reason to be yellow. Yeah, I wondered about that. But what I'm curious about now is, with a different buster, it's behaving differently. So if there's a yellow screen, we're getting a black screen. So something is different. Something is different. Yeah, it's not hot. I'm not missing something obvious, am I? Like I've missed something off this board or something, I know. I wonder if I should just try the Rev 11 buster back on here, the one that was originally on there. Interested how _LED behaves. Message from Chucky in the gang there. It's nice to see Chucky here. So that's really weird. I must have missed a pin. I'm at the pin in here that I must have missed something. So again, don't do what I do. I really shouldn't be leaving it like this. I should just use a PLCC extractor. But as I say, I think this is the board I'm going to end up keeping myself. Yeah, see that one side's come out before the other now. There we go. It's kind of stuck in that corner there, look. There we go. So let me just go and get my magnifier. I'm just going to have a quick look at that socket, just in case I missed a pin, but I'm pretty darn sure I didn't. So, just let me move the camera just a little bit there. Oh, yeah, a bit too much. Sorry, just bear with me. Technical hitch. Oh, it doesn't want to stay stood up, this screen, anymore for some reason. Yeah, you know what? The solder points look alright around there. They really do. Unless I got a bridge somewhere that I can't see, but... that's a bit of a mystery. Let me just get the other buster off the other board, because there's something weird going on here. On the other board, it comes out really easy, actually, that buster. So, again, let's just try and sit that there. Push it in. It could be the socket that's fluxed, you know, it's got flux around it, because it kind of feels squishy when it goes in, instead of the pins sliding up on the sides properly. So, you never know, it could be that. Well, I'm still getting a black screen. This is really weird. Yeah, I mean, a black screen would be good if it then came up with Kickstart, but it isn't doing. Let me just inspect the ROMs again, just to make sure that those ROMs are in there properly. Let's just switch it off. It still hasn't booted up there. They are the right way around, aren't they, with regards to pin 1? Yeah. I'm just trying to think if I missed anything here. Well, I'll tell you what. When we reseat these in a sec, let's just make sure the pins aren't bent or anything like that. No. When we reseat these in a minute, let's remove the SIM, because it should give us a green screen if it's booting. Unless that something really weird is going on with Buster now, where it's, I don't know, killing the data bus or something. Yeah, the pins are alright. And these are definitely the right way round. CPU card looks alright. Right, so I'll give it one more try. I'll tell you what's going on. If there's anything amazing to show you, I'll show you. But trust me, it's a moment, it's just a black screen. I've definitely got pin 1. Yeah, I've got pin 1 right there, so it's not that. Yeah, that's where you look at the power LED. Yes, I understand that, Chucky. I read that about the power LED, that when it boots, when you've got diagram, the power LED makes the power LED light brighter, I think, so you can actually tell that it started to boot or not, or where you've got like a completely dead data bus or something. Anyway, that's still just a black screen. It's not doing anything but a black screen, and I'm not seeing any reason for it. So let's try and remove this. Let's see if we get the green screen. Oh joy, we're not getting a green screen now either. So, let me think about this. I wonder if I got... No, I didn't get any solder anywhere around here, did I? Did I get some solder up there? What's that? Seeing things here. No, I didn't. I don't think. No. So, I'm trying to retrace my steps now to think about what might have happened. Nothing around here is bridged by any of that solder. There was a wire, wasn't there, or something that was somewhere nearby that had a bit of solder on it? Let's just see if we can have a look at that. No, it's sort of looking alright. Let me just have a look on the underside of the board in a minute. Yeah, I don't know. But the thing is, though, hang on a minute. We booted Diagram a minute ago with this, didn't we? This is the thing. I'm looking for a fault. I'm looking for a fault or something, and there isn't anything, is there? We did boot Diagram. Diagram booted okay, and everything passed without a buster. So it's really weird. Let's try powering it again. I'm really confused by this behaviour now. Yeah, no, it's not booting. Let me switch it off again. Might need to bring the stream to an end soon, I think, because there's only limited things I can do on this now. I mean, what I'm going to be doing now is just inspecting the board here. I'll just move the camera a little bit. And again, it's going to be ear cam. I just want to just have a look at that. Oh, hang on a minute. Do I see a bridge there? Yeah, I see a bridge there. I think. Just on that gal there, it might be as a result of the, you know, we had some stray solder when we were removing the other thing before. So just bear with me. I'm just going to disconnect this. I'll be back in a sec. I'm just going to reflow it, that single pin. So I need a bit of flux. Where's the flux? Flux down there. In fact, I'll show you. I'll show you. Just bear with me. Oh, look at the mess. Now you know how difficult my workspace is to deal with. Yeah, what I'm going to do is I've just got a bit of flux down there. I'm just going to switch on the Heiko. Just give me a minute. I need to swap the Heiko back on. Right, that's the Heiko coming up. I'm using the Heiko because it's got a super fine tip. Yeah, this is a right mess around here. I need to sort all this stuff out after the stream because I've just got stuff everywhere as a consequence of trying to do a stream. Trust me, it's normally a bit tidy around here. I usually have the full mat, or both mats actually, and not so much of stuff everywhere and extension leads and wires everywhere. Anyway, that's that heating up. It's almost there, 400 degrees. Here we are. It's perhaps a little bit hot, but I found it's all right with these sports. And then what I need to do is, with a bit of magnification, I'm not sure I found that super useful. And it might not be this, I might be seeing things, but just between the left-hand two pins of that IC there, I see the smallest little bridge. I'm going to move the camera to the side where it was before, just because it gives me some room to work with. Yeah, hopefully you can see that. And yeah, the iron's warmed up a bit here. I'm not even sure you can you see that? Yeah, you can. And again, I'm going to be blocking the shot. I just want to get the tip of the iron right down onto that pen. Yeah, so all four of those pins there have been reflowed. I'm just going to have a quick inspection of that up close. Sorry, there's not much to look at apart from the mess. I'm just inspecting around the general area just to make sure we didn't get anything else bridged or anything anywhere. Do we have a bridge there as well? That looks a bit weird. Yeah. I don't know whether this is a consequence of the original salt, you know, some particles of solder or something. I see something there. What's that? Oh, it's just a bit of dirt. Yeah, it's just a bit of dirt. So anyway, that's that ruled out. So we'll give it one more try, and then I'll perhaps have to bring the stream to a close if we don't see any change in behaviour. Because I do need to get my tea and stuff. I can't obviously continue working on this all night. Maybe I could do a follow-on tomorrow or something like that. Chances are I'll probably work it out in 2 minutes after I've done the stream. That's probably what's going to happen. It's one of these things where I'm like, oh my goodness, what's this problem? And then 2 minutes later I'm like, oh, it was just that, you know, something simple. So let's connect the power back up. And power switch down here, so let's just check everything. Everything looks okay there. Switch it on. See if anything different happens. It's hard to tell because I've got the sim in. I should sort that sim out, see if I get a green screen really, shouldn't I? I mean, I'm not even sure there was a bridge there. It just looked like there was. No, I don't think that's booting. I don't think that's booting at all. Let's take the sim back out. I'll just show you if we're not getting a green screen. If we're not getting a green screen, then there is something weird going on. Yeah, you see that? Just black. So the other thing I'm just going to try here, because I've experienced this a little bit with both boards. Well, one of them had a fault. One of them had a fault. This crystal here, it just needed a little wiggle. And the other one actually had a faulty crystal, as you will see when we come to that video. And it was intermittent. That was the other thing. That crystal problem drove me nuts, because it was like 1 minute it'd boot, then it wouldn't. Nope, that's not it. So this is really, really weird. Really weird. Let me try the other CPU card. I can't see how. I honestly can't see how, but let's just rule the CPU card out. Nope, just the same. Right, let's put diagram back in again. I'll tell you what, this is going to be really annoying now if it boots diagram. If it doesn't boot diagram, oh, I don't know, is that more annoying or less annoying? I mean, it did boot diagram before. I'm even wondering now whether my memory's right and these chips are around the right way, actually. Maybe I'm thinking the light one went... No, it didn't. It definitely went that way around. The one with lighter print went on the left-hand side, it's the low ROM. It was, I think Stephen provided these actually. It's kindly, he kind of left these in one of them, so that's great. I mean, I've got another set of Kickstart 3 ROMs here, and I'm sure there's going to be people piping up going, "Oh, ESD static electricity, you killed it with the carpet." I don't think so. I think it's something I've missed somewhere. So that's those out. So stick the low one in the low slot and the high into the high. CPU card, switch it on. Oh my god, it's not booting at all now. Let me try switching it off and on. Let's remove the buster. Again, very carefully. There we go, it's coming out. You know, it could just be a bad connection because it feels like, what's the word? Squishy. Does that make sense? You know, it feels like it's squishing in and out of there. And as I touch it, the pins there, which I shouldn't be doing, I can feel flux. I've got flux on my hands now. So there you go, it's booting again now. I think that's what's going on. I think I need to clean up that socket properly. Let me show you. This is what you get on the wonderful diagram. It is amazing, this I love diagram. It's fantastic. This is what you get when you've not got chip RAM. So if we now switch it off and on, stick the chip RAM back in. Hang on. Which way around does it go? That way. Yeah, I'm convinced the soldering here is good. We haven't missed any pins. There are no bridges. I think it's gooey. You know, my hands are sticky just from touching the side of that chip. That shouldn't be the case. So switch it back on again, and you'll see you get the green and black flash in there. Now, having said that, before I go, there is mileage now in swapping back to Kickstart and testing if we get the green screen, because we weren't getting the green screen, were we? This is the thing. I'm not sure I tested it without the Buster. That might be the issue. Because if you get, if you've got some bad connections around Buster there, that could be causing it to lock up the entire system anyway. So let's just take that out. Put it on the ESD thing there. Let's just pull these out again. Just quickly stick diagram back in again. Not diagram. Kickstart 3 back in again. And again, that's 1. That's 2. Again, the light one, light print to the left, dark print to the right. It's the high. So if we test it with the RAM, we should get a yellow screen. Let's try that. Yeah, there we go. So, I don't know, I'm getting really, really super confused. So that was the behaviour we had before when we had a Buster in there. So, I don't know, let's try and switch it off again. Let's just remove the SIM. We should get a green screen with that. Let's do that. Let's take that out. And I'll point you back at the screen again, switch it on. I should get a green screen now. Yeah, there we go. Green screen. So that's normal now. Just remind me, because I'm not sure whether we missed a step out here. Was it doing this before? I think we've just tested it with a chip in all along, haven't we? We haven't actually removed the chip and tested it without it to make sure we're getting a normal behaviour. Or maybe we did do that and I'm losing track of mind. And it doesn't help that I've not got the text thing here, so I can't see any messages from anybody. I'm assuming the stream is still going, by the way. Anyway, let's just clean around this again. And I'll clean around the chip again, and we'll just see if we get any different behaviour. If we don't, I'll cut the stream at that point, because, like I say, I need to get some tea. And I'll just reinvestigate, and perhaps just reflow these, and maybe do an update later. I won't bore you with the actual soldering again. The toothbrush is what is required here, really. I should be going over it a few times with the toothbrush. So let me just clean the IC again, and we'll pick the... we use the Rev 9 Buster. This is the one that was on there before. I mean, it might be that we've got a new problem now. It might be that now we're getting a black screen. And we get both the Busters are all right. I need to prove that again by sticking the other board, but I've got no reason to suspect a fault, because I don't think we've got any shorts there. I'm pretty sure we haven't. So let's try and get that in. I see that clicked in this time. Last time it slid in like a, because of all the flux. But anyway, we'll see what difference that makes. I'm guessing yellow or nothing, as it would seem to be the case. Yeah, so I don't know. Must have a bad connection there. One of those solder points in the corners looks like it's soldered, but it isn't. That's what I think's going on there. Anyway, thanks very much, guys, for watching this afternoon, and thanks for all the donations and things. It's been fantastic. I'm just going to go back over there. We'll have a look at the comments and stuff. And as I say, if you want to watch another Amiga-based video, I'll stick it up straight away. Just give me 10 minutes or so. Let's just have a look at the comments. Yeah, see if I've missed anything obvious. Thank you for all the suggestions and things as well as we've done this, including the, thing at the start there about cutting the that base out and then stick it back in later, which we will do. Scrolling down a bit. Chris sees Alex might need plastic base in the PLCC socket. Yeah, that's possible. I think it will still make a connection though, because those pins. Having said that, you never know. That might be it. Yeah, that might be it. Yeah, thank you very much, Raw. Nice to see you. Everybody, really. Everybody's joined the stream. Have a good evening. Thank you, as I say, thank you very much for all the donations and things. Thanks for sticking with the stream. It's not been a particularly exciting stream. Chucky Gang, remove U177. So I'm not sure which one that is. I'll have a look at that and remove that. Someone said socket, plastic base, the IC. Yeah, Put plastic in, PLCC. Yeah, I'll try that. I'll try that. If it works, I might even just do a follow-up tonight and go, look guys, it worked. But I just need to go and get some tea and stuff now and tidy up. I've got a right mess in here, I think. And I want to clean the that socket again with a toothbrush in a minute, just to make sure it's super clean, and inspect it, make sure all the pins are all right. But I could go on and on and on. This is the sort of thing, you see. I'm showing you a bit of what I do here normally. This is what I would have been doing today as normal. I thought, well, I'll share it. But typically, you know, I'll start at 9 o'clock in the morning and I'm finished at 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. And then this is what I do. You know, I spend all my spare time doing this stuff, really. It's crazy how much time some of it takes, but you'd get bored watching my stream. You know, if I stream like this every single day, you'd be falling to sleep, I'm sure. Anyway, thanks very much, guys. Take care, stay safe. Thank you for everything. And I'll catch you in the next video.